coming into constructive rest pose. Feet flat on the floor, knees falling in together. Bring one hand to your belly and one hand to your heart. And taking a moment to just feel the weight of your body making contact with the earth. Checking in with yourself, noticing how you're feeling today, physically, emotionally. And we're going to begin class by making 3 ohms and let them be as slow as possible and a slow inhale in between each ohm. So to begin, you're going to exhale and take a big breath in under both hands. Breath in. Last one. Now take a big breath in underneath your belly hand. So expand your belly as you inhale. And then as you exhale, feel your belly hand drop towards the floor. Once more like that. Not only expanding your belly up, but out to the sides and even low back expanding into the mat. Exhaling. And then this time, inhale belly. And then at the top of the breath, inhale under your chest hand. So ribs expand. And then exhale, ribs move towards the floor and then belly towards the floor. Just like that twice more. Inhaling through the belly first and then slowly up into the chest. And then exhaling out through the ribs, then the belly. Last one. Good. Release your hands. Bring your feet to the chair and bring the feet together and the knees fall open. So we're doing cobbler's pose with the help of the chair. Now, adjust the position of your body in relation to the chair so that you feel supported by the chair. This is very gentle. We're trying to open the inner groin and let the pelvic floor relax with this posture. Some of you might find getting closer to the chair feels more effective. Others you might find being further away from the chair is more helpful. You can just let the hands rest on the inner thighs and release the back of your pelvis towards the floor. Earlier when we checked in just to see how we're feeling physically and emotionally, if you noticed that you were having any discomfort in your body or your mind, I'd like you to think of something maybe that would be helpful to you, like maybe some kind words you could say to yourself, maybe just making contact with how you're feeling this morning. Like if you would say to a friend, like, oh, you're feeling a little achy in the hips this morning. I'm sorry. And see if you can say those kind things to yourself. Or may you feel more spacious in the breath. May you feel more relaxed in your mind. Continue with that nice full body breath, inhaling belly to the chest, exhaling chest to the belly. Again, we're letting our pelvic floor relax. One more slow breath here. And now sliding the back of your legs uh, onto the chair. Bring your legs together. Coming into pigeon pose, the right ankle will be on top of your left thigh. And again, you might need to modify this posture. Perhaps you get further away from the chair to feel less, or be sure that your foot is flexed. Maybe you slide the heel to the front of the chair for a deeper stretch. And then the foot is flexed, the toes are peeling back towards the knee. If you find that the pelvis is getting light off the floor, how can you adjust this posture so that the pelvis is real heavy on the floor? Maybe it's just adjusting it in your mind. And now you're welcome to just keep the arms alongside the body if that's best for your shoulders today, or bring the hands behind your head and almost just like you're kind of, I don't know, just relaxing on a hammock. See if you can feel a mild stretch in the kind of armpit area, the upper arms. One more big breath in here. And then exhaling out through the mouth. Release the clasp of your hands. We're going to give ourselves a foot massage. So options here. If you have access to your foot, I encourage you just to start lovingly giving that foot a massage. You can move through the arch of the foot um, to the sides. If the foot is inaccessible to you, you can't reach it, you get to have a foot massage with the corners of your chair. You can press those arches of your feet into the corners of the chair and just kind of moving them around, using the corners of the chair to press in. You can do kind of broad strokes with the corners or your hands. If you have access to your feet, you can separate the metatarsals, these big long bones that plug into each toe. Just taking kind of pincher fingers, separating and wiggling. And then if you can, interlace your fingers between each toe with your left hand, and then spreading the toes, peeling them back. Pelvis stays heavy on the mat. And then release. Shake out the hands. Other side. Pigeon pose. You might find that this side is different. You need to get closer or further away from the chair, flexing the foot. And pay particular attention to the stomach here, your belly. Can you relax your belly a little bit more in this posture? Left toes keep peeling back towards the knee. If you need a little longer on this side, feel free, just pausing. But when you're ready, we're going to move into that foot massage on the other side. So Nice long broad strokes on the arch of the foot. Again, if the foot's not accessible, use the corners of the chair. You get to give your both feet a massage again. I am realizing that I forgot my light, so I'm just going to put my light, stay where you are. I'm just going to, oops, I'm going to move my light a little bit closer so you can see. Hopefully that's helpful. And then separating the metatarsals. So you're going to grab a hold between each one and just separate. Oops, wrong foot. Moving down the line. Good. Go ahead and release. Shake out your hands. Both feet are going to be on the floor underneath the knees, arms alongside the body. Take a big belly breath in. And then on the exhale, draw your navel in and down, down, down towards the floor. Press your low back to the mat. And then inhale, relax. Low back can get light off the floor. Exhale, press low back into the mat, scooping the tail a little here. And then inhale, low back gets light. Now this time, exhale, tummy in, circumference of waist in, press low back to the floor, and then curl your tailbone up, pressing feet down, coming up into a bridge, however high, not important how high rather, but more important that the legs and glutes are engaged. And then exhale, rolling down the spine, one vertebrae at a time. And then inhaling, rolling up the spine. Strong glutes. The knees sometimes try to splay out here. Draw inner thighs towards each other so they're parallel. Exhale, roll down the spine. Low back to the mat. Use your stomach muscles. And then once more, inhale, rolling up the spine. Pause here. One round of breath. And then rolling down the spine once more. Knees in, feet go a little wider. Big belly breath in. Open the mouth, let it out. Drawing the knees into the chest. Rock a little side to side. We're going to do a twist that's like a kind of a yin twist. We're not very active in this posture. Thighs come together and then just kind of lazily let the knees and legs fall to the right. Oh, excuse me, the left. As you extend your right arm back behind you to the floor overhead. Now, if for whatever reason this doesn't work for your arms and shoulders, you can always just let your arm come alongside the body. And left hand can rest on top of the thighs, but we're not trying to pull or engage here. We're just kind of, it's like a lazy twist. The breath and gravity is really where it's at for this pose. Feel the back of your head heavy on the floor. Good, yeah. And if that right arm can come back overhead and to the floor behind you, just go ahead and do that. The elbow can be bent. Just lazy, lazy twist. We're feeling hopefully length along the right side of the trunk. Softness in the face and jaw. Last breath. And then slowly rolling back through center, knees into chest. And a lazy twist, other side. Legs go right. Left arm goes back behind you or alongside the body, whatever is right for your body today. Then if you're feeling areas of tightness, short muscles, imagine that you could send your breath into these areas. On the inhale, expanding these areas, lengthening the left side of the trunk. On the exhale, surrendering to gravity a little bit further. In these kind of postures, sometimes I like to just imagine I'm laying on a beach in the sand, not really particularly trying to do anything, just enjoying where I'm at. It's like a vacation yoga pose. Take one more big spacious breath in and out. And then slowly roll onto your right side. Left hand can come in front of you to help push yourself up to a seat. And then we're going to move actually to come to a standing pose, so Tadasana. So take your time coming up to stand. Okay. So I'd like you to have your chair at one end of the mat, the seat facing you, and then you're at the other end of the mat or the other end of, oh, if you don't have a mat, that's fine. Just about 4 or 5 feet away from the chair. You're gonna do the practice like this, but I may every once in a while turn to face the front just to show you a different angle, but you're gonna stay facing the chair. Eventually, maybe I'll have a couple cameras. um, so mountain pose. Take a moment and just really intentionally place your feet underneath your hips and rolling the shoulders. Stand up nice and tall. Go the other direction with your shoulder roll. And as you're doing this, check in. Are your knees locked? Have you kind of straightened them out? And just kind of notice if you have, what does that do to your glutes? For me, I know that when I lock my knees, I kind of like squeeze my butt and my stomach comes out. And then inquire what would it be like as you're continuing to roll your shoulders, go both directions, bend the knees and put a little more weight into your heels. So it's a very small micro bend. It keeps the legs nice and active. Now let the shoulders settle down the back. You're going to stay facing the direction you're facing. I'm just going to face you, just so good. And I'd like you to imagine that you have like a little anchor on your tailbone and it's causing your tailbone to draw down as you draw your thigh bones back a little bit. The space between your hip points and your belly button and your pubic bone, draw it in and imagine you could send it up under your ribs. At the same time, lengthen and lift your chest away from the hips. Bring your hands into hitchhiker thumbs. So it's like you got your hitchhiker thumbs are going to be pointing forward. And then I want you to keep everything we've been working on and rotate the hitchhiker thumbs from your upper arms out to the sides. So now you're standing and you got these hitchhiker thumbs whoop, pointing out. Yeah. And it's causing your upper arm bone to spiral towards the chair and then away from you. Soften the shoulders down and then release your hitchhiker thumbs and just pause here, mountain pose. Feel your breath drawing head and throat slightly back, chin slightly down. Again, if those knees have locked again, whoop, check it out. Keep the weight in your heels. Tummy's in, supporting this posture. Good. And then shift your weight to your left foot. Bend your right knee, lifting right heel. We're going to do a little bit of balancing. Step right heel forward. Ball to the foot comes to the floor and bend your front knee. Back leg will straighten. And then come back to mountain pose. Step right foot back, mountain pose. Other side, weight shifts to right, left heel lifts, just stepping a couple inches forward, bend left knee, Back leg straight, tummy in, stay tall, and then step back, mountain pose. Other side, right foot few inches forward, front knee bends, back leg straightens. Feel the stretch. Step back, mountain pose. Other side, left foot heel to ball, front knee bends, back leg straightens. Feel the stretch and step back. Good, and then you're gonna right heel lifts, right heel lands, step forward, bend right knee, and other side, we're gonna just step forward, walk, left heel steps forward, ball of the foot, straighten back leg, left knee bends. Bring your palms together in front of your heart. So this posture is like a modified warrior one position actually, but it's somewhere between taking a slow walk in warrior one. Keep your belly in, lift your chest into the knuckles of your thumbs. Good. And then you're going to take one more step forward. Right foot comes forward, land the heel, ball of the foot. And if you've run out of room like I have, you can step your back foot, that's your left one, step it back a little bit. And then reach your arms forward for the back of the chair, hinging from the hips. We're going to come into a single leg stretch, stretching the front of the leg, stretching the front leg. It's also called Parshvottanasana. So for here, both legs are straight for the most part, hinging from that hip crease. And you may keep your hands on the back of the chair. Some of you might find you want to bring the hands down to the seat of the chair. Reach your rear away from the chair, particularly the right hip. The right hip might try to kind of creep forward. Feel your breath. You might decide to stay here, or if you'd like more sensation, imagine you're pressing a gas pedal with your front foot and you're making the front heel light. Keep reaching hips away from chair. Feel your breath. Good. Land the heel if you lifted it. Soften and bend both knees. Bring your hands to your hips and come on up to stand. Step front foot back and left foot comes forward. Left knee bends, right leg straightens. Just a moment here in this warrior one variation. And then straightening both legs, coming into the leg stretch. Hinge from the hips. Hands either the back of the chair, long spine, or seat of the chair. Reaching the hips away from the seat of the chair. Feel your breath. And we want to keep the spine as long as possible. Sometimes our body, in order to get out of the stretch, will start to kind of round the spine. And then that's when you're kind of like, I'm not sure if I feel anything. If that's the case for you, perhaps you need to tilt your pubic bone down a little bit as you extend your rear back a little bit more. And if you like, press the gas. And just notice, are you gripping anywhere in the body as we go through this stretch? Sometimes, if you're like me, maybe like your face starts to kind of like squeeze somewhere. See if you can stay soft. And then releasing the heel, soften the knees, strong tummy, hands to hips, come on up to stand, and step back. So you can stay facing whatever direction you're facing. We're going to roll the shoulders once more. And then rolling them forward, up, back, and down. Tilt your left ear to your left shoulder. Soften your face. Keep your chest as broad as possible here. Now, I want you to imagine that you have like a crayon on the tip of your nose, and you're going to draw a line from the top left corner of your room to the bottom right corner of your room. And that's the corner that's actually behind you. Again, lifting the nose, head tilted to the left, top left corner, and then bottom right corner behind you. One more time. Nose to top left corner, ear heavy to the left. Keep it heavy to the left and draw the line down towards the corner behind you. Rolling chin now to chest, head to neutral position. Other side, right ear to right shoulder. Pause here. So even though we're focusing on the neck, can you bring this mountain pose into its fullest expression? Check to see that the knees aren't locked, the tummy's in. Thigh bones are moving back, tailbone kind of anchoring towards the floor. Maybe the ear can release a little further towards that shoulder. Last breath. And then you got that crayon on your nose. Nose points up to right corner of the room, top right corner. And then draw a line diagonally down towards left back corner, top right corner. And bottom left corner behind you. Once more. Up. Head heavy to the right. And then down. Now roll your chin to your chest. And head comes up. Good. Take a walk behind your chair now. And I'll just move it towards the center so you can see a little bit better. Okay. You're going to grab a hold of the back of the chair. Coming into that mountain pose again. Hands are going to rest on the back of the chair a little bit more narrow than shoulder width distance apart. And then check in with your mountain pose. Knees are slightly bent, tail moving towards the floor, thigh bones moving back as you draw your tummy in, lifting your heart vertically away from the floor. And the circumference of your trunk is really hugging in towards the center line of the body. By doing this, we're looking to see how much length we can get in the spine. And then keep lifting and lengthening your sternum, the plate of the ribs that's right in front of the ribs. Lift it, lift it, lift it. And starting to draw the shoulder blades back a little bit more. Flattening the shoulder blades onto the back. Keep the tummy in. Draw your throat and your head back a little bit more. How tall can you get? Get so tall that maybe the only place you can go is slightly back. And this is a back bend in the heart. The low back is strong and moving in towards this. The core is supporting the low back here. So the back bend is not in the low back. Watch those knees. Don't let them not lock. Lift, lift, lift. Keep drawing the chin slightly down as the head goes back. One more breath like this. And then exhale, release. Good. That was our cobra pose. Okay. From here, we're going to come on back to the chair. So have a seat on the chair. Feel your feet on the floor, resting your palms on the thighs. And just take a moment and notice. Let's do a warrior 2 variation. You're going to swing your right knee out and press the foot your right foot into the floor. For this warrior 2 variation, the right thigh is on the chair, the right butt cheek is on the chair, and actually my left butt cheek is on the chair as well. This is the most simple version. Some of you might have more range of motion, and you're welcome to kind of do more of a warrior 2 like that. Just be sure that your hips are high enough so you don't feel like you're kind of jamming in the left hip. But I'll just be demoing the simple version. Bring your hands to your hips, and I want your chest and your shoulders to be parallel with facing the front of your chair. And your right foot is in line with your hips, the heel directly underneath the knee. Roll the shoulders back and down, and then you're going to gaze over right shoulder. Here's our warrior 2 variation. See if you can press the right foot into the floor. Press, 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 press. You want to fire up that right leg. You're welcome to stay here or fully extend the arms. We'll be here for 5 breaths. Tuning into the quality of your breath. Can you make the exhale and inhale equal? And just like we practiced in mountain pose, the long spine, the tummy hugging in, using all of that we worked on. Take one more slow breath in and slow breath out. And then release. Bring left hand to hip, right elbow to right knee. Keep your chest broad here, squeezing the shoulder blades back, flattening the shoulder blades onto the back. Here's our variation of side angle pose. As you come into this posture, it's really common for the left hip to kind of come off the chair. I want you to keep it anchored so both glutes are on the chair here. And then you're welcome to stay here, broad chest gazing at your right foot, or another option would be left arm straight up, or left arm on diagonal, palm facing the floor. We'll be here for 3 breaths. Tummy's in, broad chest. So again, variation, find the arm variation that works best for you. And then on the next inhale, come on up. Good. We'll do the other side. Sorry, I think there's a hawk in my yard screaming. Okay, other side. Left foot on the floor. Get nice and long. Hands come to hips. Squaring shoulders and trunk to the front of the chair. Lift heart, draw neck and throat back, chin slightly down, and then turn to look over left shoulder. Pressing left foot into the floor. Now you might want to stay here. You might want to extend the arms. 5 breaths. Very active in that left leg, foot pressing down. Nice and slow and steady with the breath. Last breath. Moving into side angle. Right hand to hip, left elbow to left thigh. Moving that right shoulder back as you gaze at the left foot, pressing down that foot into the floor. Please feel free to stay here or move into any variation that feels right for you this morning. If the opposite hip, that right hip, is kind of floating up, anchor it down. Most importantly in this posture and all postures is that you're breathing, but also that you want to create length in the right side of the trunk. You want to keep the chest open and the face relaxed. Chin slightly towards throat. One more breath. And then come on up. Good. Walking the feet back, just coming to a seated position. Bringing palms together in front of your heart. On an inhale, I want you to open your arms out wide. Imagine you have two platters on your hands. Elbows are pointing down and drawing scapula, shoulder blades flattened on the back. On an inhale, this is the inhale position. And then on the exhale, you're going to part the shoulder blades, round the back, and bring the elbows and palms together, dropping your head. Okay, I'm going to show you the side view. On the inhale, opening up, hold your platter. You're kind of digging the bottom tips of your shoulder blades into your back to help broaden the chest. And then on the exhale, parting the space between the shoulder blades, rounding the back, letting the head drop. That's the exhale. Inhale, open, back bend in heart back bend. Exhale, rounding back. Drop the head. One more time. Open. You can look up a little bit, chin slightly down, and then exhale, elbows and palms together, round, part the shoulder blades, almost like you're pushing elbows and arms forward. Let the head drop, soften your face. Release the hands to your knees, and then roll up. And feel your breath. Good. Next, we're going to take a twist. Options. I'm going to show the gentle version of the twist first, and then I'll show the more intense version. So gentle twist version would just be, let's see, spine nice and tall. We want to make sure there's no rounding occurring in the spine best we can. You're going to bring your right hand palm out to the outside of the legs to the left, and then left hand will hold the back of the chair, and you're just going to look over left shoulder, just like that. That's the gentle version. For a more intense version, you would sit side saddle on your chair, knees swing to the left, and then grabbing the back of the chair and looking over left shoulder. Whatever posture, whatever version you decide to be in, keep breathing for 3 breaths. Keep lifting and lengthening your heart away from your hips. And the head turns just as much as feels like it makes sense for you today. If the neck's feeling tender, you can always look forward. Last breath. And then to come out of it, we'll start from the top of the spine and move to the bottom. So head turns to the right. And then release the chair or untwist. Second side. So you're going to swing your knees to the right if you're doing the more intense version. Coming into the twist, you know how to do it. If you're doing the gentle version, you keep the knees facing forward, back of left hand to side of right thigh. Opposite hand holds the back of the chair, moving the hand down towards the floor of the back of the chair, towards the floor from the back of the chair. I'll show you a side view of that. So this is the gentle version, or more intense. 2 more breaths. Keep anchoring the tailbone towards the floor, tummy drawing in, chest lifted. And then head turns to the left and slowly untwist the rest of the spine. Press your feet into the floor, stand up, and then we're just going to shake. Shake, 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 shake. Shake, 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 shake the arms, shake the shoulders, shake the legs. Okay, variation of downward dog. Standing in front of the seat of your chair, draw your tummy in, feet are about hips width distance apart. Hinge from your hip crease coming forward. Options. You're either going to hold onto the back of the chair, and if you want to do it kind of like aqua yoga style, you'd walk your feet back and then extend the hips back. If for whatever reason this doesn't work for your body today, you're always welcome to bend the knees as much as needed. Maybe elbows rest on the chair. You could also just come down to touch the floor. The benefits of doing downward dog variation like this kind of aqua yoga style, is that we get lots of length in the spine and the arms, an opportunity to draw our tummy in and lengthen the entire plane of the back body. But again, you're welcome to find whatever variation that best suits you. What I'm most interested in is you stretching the back of your body. 2 more breaths. Good. Slowly walk forward to come up. And we're going to come to the floor facing the seat of our chair. Please grab your yoga blanket or towel and pillows. So have the pillows nearby. The blanket that you have, I want to create a wedge for your hips. And so the way that I'm going to have you do this is, see if I can get this. Here we've got the blanket. Hopefully your blanket is thicker than mine. This is all I got for a towel. I want you to roll one end of the blanket and then leave the bottom end kind of like just kind of dangling out. What's going to happen is you're going to put the roll underneath your rear and then kind of slide it back. So it's like you're kind of falling off the roll, but I'll talk us through it. So good, you can still see me. Okay. Coming to sit down in front of your chair. On top of your blanket. I'd like you to sit cross-legged with your right ankle in front. Okay, if you can't do this, just wait a moment and I'll give you a variation. Right ankle in front. You got your hips propped up, and then you're kind of going to scoot forward till it's almost like, oh man, the flesh of your butt's behind you, and it's almost like, oh, you're going to fall off the front edge of this blanket. So you've got a wedge. Your pelvis, the back of the pelvis is tilted up, the front of the pelvis is tilted down. Those of you who can sit cross-legged, you're just going to bring your stack your forearms and rest your forehead on the back of the chair. On the seat of the chair like this. Okay. Those of you who are having trouble crossing into Sukhasana or cross-legged position, options. You're going to I'll show you. Come into cobbler's pose, soles of the feet, but kind of like a very mild cobbler, soles of the feet together. And then you're going to prop up the outsides of the knees with blankets and then just fold forward. Some of you might find you might need to build up the back of the chair or like put some blocks or books here. We're all going to just be folding forward. And soften your face in this position. Okay, so this is the mild variation. If you're finding you're rounding a lot in the back still, you might need to lift your hips up a little bit higher. Also, those of you in the cross-legged position, you can always support your front knee with a pillow if that's needed. Keep your belly soft. Let your pelvic floor soften as well. And imagine that you have a balloon in your belly, the front of your belly and your back, your waist. And as you inhale, the balloon expands. So you expand into the back as well. As you exhale, you let go of something. On this next exhale that you take, open your mouth and let it out through the mouth. And then come on up. Kick both legs forward. Walk your hands back behind you. Bend your elbows towards each other and lift the chest. Tendency might be to lift the chin away from the chest, but for this one, draw your chin slightly back and then balloon your chest up as you look up. And then we'll switch sides. So those of you doing Sukhasana with the legs crossed, you're going to bring the left shin in front. Maybe prop up that front knee and then come on into it as you're ready. Those of you who need a more gentle variation, this is actually Therasana, actually. It's kind of a more mild cobbler's pose. The soles of the feet are together once again, knees wide, and then folding forward. Supporting those knees. So as you're breathing here, just like we did at the beginning of class, we made contact with any kind of discomfort that we're having in our body or our mind, our heart. So the same way we would make contact with a friend who's maybe having a hard time, like, oh, you're feeling a little stiff today. This is the quality of compassion and just kind of noticing how it feels in your body to receive a compassionate response to some sort of discomfort. And I'd like you to take some big, soft belly breaths in, imagining just the essence of compassion, that feeling, what it feels like to receive compassion, breathing that in for yourself. Each inhale, breathing in kindness and compassion for yourself. If you need to stay here a little bit longer on this side, please feel free. We're just going to move into a forward fold. So the legs will kick out forward. and slide a pillow behind the backs of the knees. And now, once again, resting the arms on the seat of the chair. Make sure that the hips are high enough. You might find for this one, if the legs are feeling particularly confined, maybe you got to prop your hips up a little bit higher to give your pelvis a head start to tilt forward. Let the legs soften and relax. And then here, if you know someone maybe that's having a hard time right now, feeling some stress, I'd like you to imagine on each exhale, you're sending them compassion and kindness. So the inhale, sending yourself kindness, and the exhale, sending them something good, sending them compassion. One for you, one for them. In for you, out for them. Slowly come up. We're going to move into relaxation pose. You're welcome to just come onto your back flat. Pillows are there to support the backs of the knees if you need it, if the back is feeling tight. You're also welcome to bring the calves to the back of the chair, or to the seat of the chair, rather, and adjusting how close you are to the chair until you feel fully supported. So this variation of Shavasana is just an option. Let the backs of the hands come to the floor about 5 inches away from your hips. You can walk your shoulder blades together behind you to broaden the chest, releasing the weight of your head onto the mat or the floor, and softening your face completely. For a relaxation pose, you're welcome to continue to do this compassionate breathing practice, breathing in compassion and kindness for yourself, breathing out for another, or just simply let go and be. Soften your entire body. Begin to wiggle your toes and your fingers. Drawing the knees into the chest. And then rolling to one side, coming up to a seat. Bringing your palms together in front of your heart. Thanks so much, you guys. Namaste.